You're listening to Wait on Purpose podcast, the show for single women who want to overcome emotional discomfort with being single, understand the fear of being alone, and transform it to self-love while celebrating this season with joy, purpose, and passion. Each week, we'll explore topics on how to optimize your season of singleness and become who you want to attract. Now, here's your host, Tracy Noel, the introverted empath.
Hey, this is your host, Tracy Noel, and I am back with another episode of Wait on Purpose. So nowadays, women such as myself, we are choosing to be single so that we can heal and grow and build as well as optimize this season of singleness. Basically, so we can become who we want to attract. I noticed a lot of relationships, in my opinion, are very shallow nowadays. They're really surface level. There's no depth to them. And I just feel like there's been this decline in relationships that have substance. And what do I mean by substance is those deep spiritual and healthy and committed relationships where both parties are thriving and growing spiritually, emotionally, financially, and such. And I think one of the reasons out of many is the lack of connections or the lack of opportunities that we give each other, or that space that we give each other, that that just elicit these deep, thought-provoking conversations where both people can be honest with who they are, what they need, what their triggers are, what they struggle with, as well as what their desires and goals are. We're not having these conversations and amongst men and women. And one thing that I know for sure that we need as women is a man's presence. I think that's one of the really major things that we really want from men is their presence. And a man can't be present in a situation that he doesn't feel comfortable, safe, and vulnerable in. I mean, that's how I feel as a woman. I don't know. So I just thought it would be very dope to bring in a male's perspective. I want to bring single men to the table to have these conversations as well. And these are men who I respect and admire. I respect and admire their opinions, their perspectives. Men who I feel are shattering the myths and images that depict them as this antagonist of this plot, right? And men who are just changing the narrative, who are also optimizing their season of singleness, by not throwing back the stones and dirt thrown by them by society, but they're actually using them to build their kingdom. So the next guest I actually met at a networking event on how to build wealth, and we instantly connected off purpose, right? That word and that concept resonated with both of us as we discovered that's what we were walking in at this point in our lives, purpose. We were both living a purpose-driven life. Real estate investor and business owner at DHS Houses, and he's the CEO, founder, fashion designer at Almvghty. And Dondre, a Southside Chicago native, is a self-taught designer, and he's actually a pharmacy school dropout. So as a visual storyteller, he believes in creating experiences and building up the community through fashion, art, music, and film. And he's very passionate about storytelling through his brand, Almvghty. And it's actually spelled pretty dope. It's Almvghty, and we'll let him explain the concept behind that. But Almvghty is a movement. It's bridging the gap between streetwear, culture, and spirituality. And every garment is created through a unique cut and sewn process that is designed to uplift the soul and spirit. So each collection has a short film that allows the clothing to come alive and speak to the people. And it's not for everyone. Almighty is not for everyone, but it is for those who stand out, those who are unique and different. So ultimately, Dondre's goal is to utilize Almighty as a platform to push purpose, influence, and lead lost souls from darkness to light. So please welcome Dondre. How are you doing, love? So happy to connect with you today.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be on Wait on Purpose. Like I said, that word purpose is just like one of my favorite words. And I can tell it's one of your favorite words too, because you named the podcast after it.
Absolutely. I feel like we are all here for a purpose. And not just one main purpose, but we all have many different purposes. And I think one of those purposes is to truly serve each other. So yeah, that's my word. That's my word for 2022.
Yes.
Yeah. So before we connected, I know you were asked to choose three random numbers that corresponded to three random topics in regards to men, women, and relationships and dating and so forth. But before we get into those topics, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your clothing line. First off, what's your story? I know you say you're a pharmacy dropout, so you had plans to be a pharmacist, okay, and then you kind of dropped out and became a designer, something like a Kanye West. But tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I started the brand when I was 18. My freshman year in college was in 2014, and I was just doing what we, mostly taught to do, go to school, go to college, get good grades, get a job, work for somebody your whole life. But I kind of came up a hustler my whole life. I was always a sneakerhead. So even in high school, I would get sneakers, sell them, I just was always naturally good at selling things. And when I started my brand, it was I really started out the trunk. So I just really just started selling merchandise. I would pull up on people. I would literally sell clothes out of my trunk. And it came down to pretty much my third year. I applied to pharmacy school. I got accepted. I went to the University of Iowa knowing that I wanted to go to pharmacy school. So I did all the organic chemistry, the biochemistry, the biology, all those math and science classes. Got accepted. And I took a year off to establish residency because I wanted to cut tuition in half, and who got $50,000, a year. We was already paying for undergrad. So grad school is double.
Yeah.
So long story short, with taking that year off, I was able to do a lot of traveling for my business. And the second time I went to California, I ran into a prophet, and he started speaking over my life, and he started telling me these things I used to do when I was a child. While he was telling me these things, he was like, Holy Spirit, bring it to me. And at that moment, I knew it was God because he looked like he was straight off the block. So when I seen him, I didn't even think he was going to say nothing about God, and it really hit me. And it was before I left and came back to Chicago, he told me, he was start journaling. He said, start journaling and writing down your prayers, and you're going to see God start answering your prayers. And then when I got back to the crib, everything changed. Everything changed. Everything changed. I was with my best friend, and then my other friend that I met through my best friend. And he actually did a lot of graphic work with me, graphic design work, some of the pieces that's on the website, the Redemption t-shirt and the Sacrifices denim jacket. He actually did that artwork. But I was with them three when we had this experience, and we did a lot of traveling together. We went to Miami, went to New York, a whole bunch of stuff. And when I got back, I was just really started building a personal relationship with God. I never had a personal relationship with God. I was praying every night, but it was more like a routine prayer. Because, the Lord, he he healed my best friend from leukemia cancer at 10 years old. So like when he was 10 years old and I found out he got diagnosed with leukemia cancer, that's when I started praying every night. But it was more so like a routine prayer. And after that experience, man, like I just really started tapping in and then realizing like, and then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and Think and Grow Rich. And then like after I read those two books, like around the same time all this happened, I was like, I'm not about to go back to school because I learned about the rat race and all that stuff. So I'm like, I have a heart to help people. So it's like, that's why I wanted to become a pharmacist anyway, to help people. But like, that's not really my element. Like, like you said, we met at a networking meeting, you know what I'm saying? I can't just be behind the desk counting pills.
Yeah.
Like, that's not me, bro. And the whole time, like, I really realized I can help people with my clothing, you know what I'm saying? That's why I say, I make clothing now to uplift the spirit and the soul, because so much negativity and stuff going on. And it's like, with social media and everything that's going on, it's hard to really just focus on God and focus on becoming the best version of yourself. And that's really what Almighty means to me, is really living on purpose. So like that's actually like our slogan, is live on purpose. So that's why when you said wait on purpose, I'm like, okay, well, something's going right here, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a divine connection. And I love that story because it shows how, like you said, in this world, we're drowned out. We can't hear God speaking to us. And sometimes when we don't hear God speaking, then he gets to, he gets to bringing things down, what I'm saying, to get our attention. But sounds like you listened and you followed your dreams, and it's going to get you very far. And similar to me, like I'm creative, and like ever since I can remember, like my first job was customer service at a desk behind a computer, and it's draining. Like that's not like it's no challenge behind that. Like I'm creative. I gotta be out there with the people and serving, and so I truly feel that. But how did you know how did you discover that you even knew how to sew? Like I have a sewing machine here, and I haven't, like, I can't even put the thread. Like I'm trying to look at tutorials on how to put the thread in.
Yeah. No,
Where did you
I mean, I
discover
didn't
that?
know how to sew. Yeah, I didn't know how to sew, like, at all. Like, I started off designing on Photoshop in the computer lab my freshman year in the dorm. So I started off designing, listening to College Dropout, Late Registration. I just taught myself how to design on Photoshop. And then I found manufacturers overseas that could do what I wanted done. Because everything I knew I wanted everything done cut and sew, even though I didn't know how to cut and sew. But it's like, when God gives you a vision, you know, you can he gonna give you provision. So it was like I just had to figure out how to get it done. But like it wasn't until like last year that I started sewing and stuff like that. So I'm still perfecting my sewing skills as we speak. It's kind of crazy because it's like I kind of just jumped in. You know what I'm saying? I just jumped in the ocean like without knowing none of this. So it's like now I'm kind of almost working backwards in a sense, where it's like now I'm like learning the fundamentals and the basics of designing, because it's like I never learned the fundamentals and the basics. And I feel like that's what's going to help me get to the next level, is now learning the fundamentals and the basics. So I do a lot of pre-production work now here in Chicago, but as far as production is overseas for right now.
Okay.
But eventually I'm working more on becoming more sustainable and doing everything here in Chicago, but it's just a process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, stepping out on faith. You don't know how it's gonna get done. You don't know, God, why you giving me this vision? I can't even sew. And you just take that
Right.
one step, and he just takes like 10 more steps towards you, and just synchronicities, right? Resources just start coming out the woodwork. People, like you just like, wow, okay,
For real.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. And
that's
that's what like
powerful.
gets you, that's what like keeps you going too. Like when you
Mhm.
meet people like yourself and like you just meet people like that, like kind of confirms that, okay, I am supposed to be doing this. Because if I wasn't there, I would have met this person and I would have felt like this, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's powerful. So let's get into those topics. So the topics that you chose,
I picked my favorite numbers. I picked 3, 11, and 7.
yes. First is communication between men and women. The second topic is sex on first date. And the third topic is being, crying, and vulnerability. So are you ready to kind of dive into those topics a little bit? Okay. So communication, right? So I don't know, many women complain. I know I do. And some of, my friends, the conversations we have, is sometimes about, telling the man, like we complain about how we can tell a man how we're feeling, express ourselves, communicate, only to have that man either get angry, annoyed, or just simply shut down and withdraw. So why do you think, because it's like, it's like a common thread between a lot of women that I speak with, why do you think the majority of men don't like to express their feelings and communicate? Or is it the women who don't know his specific communication style? Is this something that can be developed?
Good question. I mean, I can't speak of other men. I can tell you about myself as being a man. I believe communication is key. And it's like, I don't know. It really depends on the type of woman you are, type of man you are. One thing that I kind of been learning, is like, you familiar with like the love languages, right?
I am familiar with the love language. What's your love language?
That's something I don't. It's it's quality time and acts of service, and then quality time and acts of service. But like even knowing because I didn't even know what that was until like last year. Like knowing that and knowing what type of personality a person has, you know what I'm saying? Because I like a lot of people. Like I speak what's on my mind at all times, so it's like mean what you say and say what you mean. And it's like, if you can't do that, then I'm going to get frustrated. But that's just because that's how I am. But some other people that are more conservative and stuff like that, they're thinkers. So it's like it might be a situation that's happening, but they not going to say everything right away because they like thinking out the whole situation in their head. It's like, okay, well, if he say this, and I'm going to say this. And, well, this, that, and the third. And it's like, I don't know. I just really think it depends on the type of person you're dealing with because everybody communicates differently, but it's like without communication and without trust, and it's no relationship, especially without trust. So it's like when something's bothering you, you know what I'm saying, it's like speak on it. It's like for me, if you speaking on something that's bothering you, it's like, I mean, I don't feel like I have a hard time communicating my feelings. I think if they have a hard time communicating their feelings, it's either they haven't spent enough time together and they're not comfortable or know each other. Because, like, if you've been, like, I was in a relationship for 6 years, but, like, this was like I was with her since like 17 to like 23. So it's like kind of young, but still 6 years is a decent amount of time. And it's like when you have to spend that much time with a person, they don't have to say anything for you to know if something's wrong with them. Right. It's just like kind of like you just know their mood or when they get moody or like, you kind of just know. So it's like if communication is a problem, y'all might not be that deep, might not be in that deep, or y'all might not know each other for real. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I also feel like people don't like to communicate because it's kind of like, it's like a vulnerable type of thing. Like when you talk about your feelings, that's like being in the vulnerable space. And I think some people just don't like to show their hand, right? So they just kind of close off. Do you think that can be a reason? Like people are like you said, like they can know each other for years, but that like they don't want to show that type of vulnerability because they feel like it's a weakness. Do you?
Yeah. As a man, I feel like sometimes it could be like that, but it's like, you know, men got emotions too. We just the best emotion that men show is really anger and sometimes jealousy. So it's like y'all women, y'all definitely emotional creatures. Like I would definitely say y'all more emotional than us. But it's like it's not like we don't have emotion. But it's like when we show emotion, then it's like people think, he's soft. But it's like that's just the world and how society kind of does it. So I guess it's like a man might feel like, I'm just gonna not say how I feel, but I feel like a woman will appreciate a man who tells them how he feels. But I do feel like that is definitely a good point and a good reason why somebody would not speak on their feelings. But it's like at the end of the day, communication. So it's like eventually you're gonna have that I need to get this off my chest moment,
Yeah. And then if you hold it in for too long, then it's gonna come out in anger. And I don't know. Yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I just know a lot of men who just close down, like they just shut down. Like I don't want to talk about it. That's it. That's all. We talked about this already. And that's why I think these conversations, like you said, love language, just knowing what a person needs. Like me, I'm big on communication because I overanalyze things. So if I can put it out on the table, let it be known what's going on, how you feel, how I feel, then that saves me a lot of just energy thinking about, okay, then what is he thinking? Okay, maybe he's thinking this. And then I have a whole conversation in my head about something that ain't even true. So like communication is just important just to, take out the confusion. So I don't know. I like how you brought up those love languages because I've actually been studying love language. It started off with me really just discovering what my son love language is and like my sisters, so I can kind of see, how to love them, right? Like how to meet them, or just one other way on how to connect with them. And my love language is actually acts of service and affirmations.
Oh yeah, affirmations was up there for me too. Yeah.
Yeah, words of affirmation. Yeah. And so what I started studying, like, okay, I'm single. How do I show myself love through the love languages? And it's so funny because if you are someone that has a love language of, let's say, acts of service, then there's ways that you can show yourself love through that love language. I think when we think of love languages, it's more so, okay, how can I love someone else? But if you change it around and say, okay, how can I use my love language to love myself? It was so interesting what I discovered with that. But I think that that's important to know how someone
that was a very good point.
Love. Yeah, I think it's very important to know how you
I don't think anybody really talk about that. That's crazy. Like, yeah, it's always about like how to love somebody else, your family, your friends, relationship, but not like using this for self-love too, which is like, yeah, it's crazy.
So I'll give you an example, right? So we both like acts of service. So one way to show our self-love through that language is like just simply asking people for help. Like, we can't do it all by ourselves. So even just, asking people for help, especially as a single mom, just reaching out to that village, like regular physical, dental, and mental health checkups, of course, grooming yourself, making your home your oasis, like organized, clean spaces, preparing healthy meals for yourself. Like those are all ways that people who have that love language can show self-love. So I thought that was really interesting. But anyways, we get off the topic. Communication.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah.
It's important. So let's go to the next one, which is sex.
Because I gotta organize my office.
Yeah, right, exactly. Or like all over the place, right? All over the place. So clearing out that clutter and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, I feel like that's like kind of affects your mental too. You know,
it does. It really does.
that's
Um,
crazy.
it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Um, sex on the first date. So we've heard instances where, couples that slept together on the first date has went on and established these healthy and long-lasting relationships or marriages. But what are your views on women who have sex on the first date and why?
Well, first of all, now I'm celibate and I'm saved. But secondly, before that happened, I was definitely out here, and I mean, man, God really changed my life because, like, even the relationship I told you I was in, like, I was a liar and I was a cheater, bro. And it was like, but I was so young. I was like 18, to 21, went to college, tried to break up with her. She didn't want to, so it was whatever. But anyway, to answer that question, because it's like I definitely have my experience, like, I don't have respect. Me personally, not saying I don't have respect now, but it's like me then, you know what I'm saying? If I meet someone and they just let me in, it's like, okay, well then I'm not gonna take you seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like what actually used to turn me on was like people that wasn't going. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not going, then it's like, why aren't you going? Because everybody else pretty much is going. So it's like if you're going on the first night, just know that man is not gonna really respect you. From my perspective, at least me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, cause it's like it's easy. Nobody wants it. It's easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's how I feel.
Right. And that's I feel the same way, although I do respect people's decision. Like sometimes that's all women want, they just want that hookup. That's it. They don't want the strings attached. They don't want the emotions involved in it. And that's good. Sometimes I kind of envy those women who can do that without getting emotionally attached, because I've been practicing abstinence for about 3 years now, and it's been a long time. Like it's been a lot to try to just get rid of those soul ties. Like,
That's the key word right there.
yeah. And so I had to realize, like, okay, when I have sex with a man, I get so emotionally attached, and it'd be the wrong man to be attached to. So I had to kind of step back and say, okay, let me take that off the equation. And what I'm learning now is that after a while, like I'll go out on a date with a person, talk to that man for a little bit. I'm like, no, I ain't gonna have no second date. But, before I became abstinence, I would, I'm not saying I've had sex on the first date, but I would jump so deeply in with a man. And by the time I realized that he wasn't, like he was an asshole, pretty much, I was already emotionally, attached to him. So I definitely think you have to get to know someone and kind of feel the person out and see what type of person they is before you invite them in your bed, because it's those soul ties, and they come with everybody that they slept with, and it's an energy.
Exactly. It's a transfer. It's
Yes.
a transfer of spirits. Whatever spirits is in that person, whatever spirits is in you, now you just got all chaos going on. So that's why sometimes you might even see yourself acting different after, having sex with somebody different, And I mean, really, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is like the most intimate form of love, but it usually, everybody got the season of life they in, and God is very gracious, and God has a lot of mercy, and it's just like, really, we have to think about it. Like, sex is a gift. First of all, it's a gift, and it's intended for, I mean, obviously holy matrimony. So it's like when we do it outside of that, it's like it's hard for us to really get what we're supposed to get. Like, for example, it's like, it's almost like a water bottle, right? Like, when you get a fresh water bottle, bro, and it's cold and you just got done like working out and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's a crisp water bottle, bro. You down it. Okay. Later on that day, you refill that water bottle, it's still good. Refill it a third time. It's getting a little scrunched up a little bit. And if you keep that same water bottle for a whole week, you know, the label might be coming off of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not going to be in the same condition. So it's like, what I'm saying is, it's like, sometimes we make things more difficult for us when we try to get something that God has intended for a specific time and in a specific way. Because it's like, Satan wants to be just like God. So whatever God, wants to give us, Satan gives it to us his way. So when we do things Satan's way, then we find ourselves more emotionally, what's the word? Like unstable, like
yeah.
emotionally, like how you said, like sometimes emotions can get involved. You can become emotionally unstable. You can become like a stalker. You can become kind of finding yourself being crazy, like you never thought you was crazy, but it's like because we're doing things outside of the will of God. So I haven't always thought this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm realizing I'm 24, so I never thought, I never even wanted to get married because, like, I was at my parents' wedding. My parents got divorced like 2 years later, so it's like I was cool, just had a sex woman, like, you feel me? Like, that was cool, you feel me? Like, and I just realized a lot of stuff that I was doing, I got from my father, you know what I'm saying? So generational curses is real. So it's like, to break that is, it takes nothing but prayer and the blood. So it's like, but, to each his own, it's like, it's just better to wait, in my opinion, just because then you'll be able to, get what it will feel like like different, bro. Like, yes, sex feels really good, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, when we do it in the way it's supposed to be intended for, I feel like it's just that more beautiful and that more enjoyable,
Absolutely. And like you said, sex is a very intimate thing. I think it's one of the most powerful transfers of energy that two people can participate in. And, to be honest, you don't know what type of kingdoms you can build like during that orgasm if you really with someone that you love and y'all get to visualize and
right.
get kingdoms and money and wealth during that orgasm. Man, y'all can manifest so much stuff just through that transference of energy because it's so powerful, and when it's done with love, it's even more powerful. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that, and I didn't always think that way either. I'm just like, okay, whatever, it's sex, but it's
because it's easy to think of it just casual because the society we live in is kind of over sexualized. You even think about when I was a kid and we watched certain movies with our parents, or our parents used to try to cover our eyes, but we knew like certain HBO shows, would have some freaky stuff on there. Even MTV used to have the MTV Uncut. Like, it was just always there. So it's like it becomes normal. And so it's like, yeah, that's just, that's how Satan works, honestly.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
That's all it is.
So sex on the first date to you think women are, you think that woman is a hoe, she have sex on the first date with you?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't do all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say, oh, yeah, you a hoe because you went the first night. I wouldn't say all that. Everybody likes pleasure, you know what I'm saying? As long as we live in this flesh, we're going to have temptation. You know what I'm saying? We all fall. We all make mistakes. We all sometimes act off of emotion, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it could be a mixture, a combination of all those things. Maybe you just wanted something. Like, that's on you. You a grown woman. You make your decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you make your decisions, baby girl. I'm not judging you. You do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But now I know, You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now I know you feel me. Like it's like I know now I know because it's like I don't know. It's like it's no different than me doing on the first date. It's like would I consider myself a hoe? I mean, probably yeah, because I was, but I'm not gonna say she is. I'm just saying like she just wanted to have fun that night. But like I'm not looking for a woman that's gonna go on the first night. So, but I know
Yeah,
everybody, every woman does eventually. I feel like maybe not every woman, but
yeah,
more than
yeah.
half. I would
Well,
say,
I
and
mean,
same with men too. Same with men too. So,
yeah, I mean, I guess I think the women who do have sex on the first night, or I just feel like they know what they want and they go for it, and they'll that's it, that's all. And I just think there's some of us that we need more of a emotional connection, which I think either or is okay. I just you just have to be careful with who you are transferring that spirit to, or that energy with. But
hmm
it is, it is what it is. I know one time,
yeah,
I think the first time and the only time that I tried to do a one night stand, I met the guy, did the one night stand, and saw his ass the next day. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, we actually bumped into each other a few more times, and it was so awkward. We just start back talking like, I guess we're supposed to be together. It was so awkward. Oh, it
so
was so
funny.
awkward. But yeah, so sex on the first night don't work for me. But let's go to the third topic, which
Y'all still
is
friends?
actually, yeah, no, actually, we are still cool. We are still
That's
cool
awesome.
to this day, yeah.
That's dope.
And I've known
But
him.
that's the thing too. It's like I don't ever even like when I was like I don't ever feel like especially when it's like okay this is what you want, this is what I want. So it's like um I mean, I don't know. Like when I was, it's just like I kind of always. I guess I was the type that never had feelings. Really, I only like. Yeah, I never really had feelings. So like, I always respected everyone. Like even if you went, I still. It's not that I didn't respect you. So I guess I didn't mean to say that earlier when I said I don't respect you. I would say that I just. That's just not what I'm looking for. Like I wouldn't date someone. I don't think off the um, well, dating relationship is different. So I don't think I'll get in a relationship with someone that'll let me on the first date. But
Okay.
um, but as far as like just partners, like I genuinely respect them as women and as friends. So it's like I was like it's like I'm still cool with a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still cool with a lot of them now. They see me talk about Jesus and they like, wait, hold on. And it's like it's kind of like part of your testimony. It's just so funny how it kind of works. But it's
Yeah.
like I always have like it's like why sometimes I guess some people feel some type of way and then they get mad at it, but I never want to end a relationship or whatever that is, you know what I'm saying, in a negative way. It's like we're adults here, we can talk it out, you know what I'm saying? If I feel like it's over with, you feel like it's over with, cool. We don't have to talk again. Or we could be cool. Like either way is cool. You feel me? So
Yeah, I mean, like when we bumped into each other, he's like, "Oh my God, I didn't have your number." We thought it was God's way of telling us we should be together, but like we parted ways. We I ain't have his number, he ain't have my number, and we just like I'm like this okay, so but yeah, but we're still cool. This happened so many years ago before I even had my children, so um long time, but yeah, nowadays I have to have some type of emotional connection before I even uh kiss a guy, so
yeah.
um third topic is so when was the last time you cried?
The last time I cried,
Hmm.
hmm. Um, I don't know.
do
Trying
you
to think.
think do you think crying is Do you think crying and vulnerability is a weakness, or do you think it's a sign of strength in a man?
Mm, I definitely wouldn't say it's weakness because everybody cries at some point in their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll probably see a man, and I wouldn't say, I mean, when you say cry, you mean like boo-hoo cry, or you just mean like tear up?
Boo-hoo crying, just releasing those emotions. You don't got to be all up in a fetal. I mean, if you want to be in a fetal, that's fine too, but just releasing that
Right.
emotion. Yeah, crying,
I mean,
boo-hooing.
I mean, I feel like if anybody gets to that point as a man, it's like if their homie die or if if a family member die. But I
Hmm.
don't think, a man should be crying over any situation other than that, really. You know what I'm saying? Um, Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's just like, as a man, you are supposed to be strong. But it's like I said before, like, it's okay to show emotion as a man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? We all got emotion, bro. Like, God has emotions too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we made in His image. So it's like I think the last time I cried was like in in the church, bro. Like being convicted by the Holy Spirit, like
Yeah.
that. Like and that was just like a like a like the Holy Spirit came over me type of cry. But besides that, I mean, shoot. Like I say, if somebody like passed or something like that, you know what I'm saying? That's probably like the saddest like I've been, like somebody passed, like even in the relationship that I was in that ended up in like, we was together for 6 years and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like she ended up like bawling, crying. I was just like over it. Like I don't think I ever like bawled, cried over a relationship. I would be mad, you know what I'm saying, or I would feel down, but I'm not gonna cry. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's something drastic.
Right.
Um, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we was talking about that. I was talking about that with another friend of mine. Um, and like I was telling him, I think that this is something that has kind of been conditioned in our boys. And it goes back to when when our boys are young, when you guys are younger, kids, a little girl falls, scrapes her knee, we run to her, we say, okay, are you okay? Is everything okay? If a boy do it, and he could be having like, his head could be falling off his head, blood coming down, and we'll tell him to man up, you know what I'm saying? Like be strong,
Hmm.
and that makes a boy feel like emotions, especially crying, is weak. And I think that's one of the reasons why there are so many men who are abusive, so many men that are depressed, that are suffering silently, because we don't in this society give men space to be what I call three-dimensional. Like crying is a human trait. Like that's a spirit. Like
Right.
that's like a human trait. And so allowing us men space to be able to communicate how they feel. If they're angry, if they're sad, if they're depressed, if they're happy, like a man should be able to be comfortable with doing that. And like I said, it don't have to be like a fetal position and crying and rocking back and forth and shit, but let those emotions out. I think I've heard like real men cry in the dark. So even if you crying in the dark and
Mm.
you don't want nobody to see it, you know what I'm saying? But just trying to hold it in because you think being a man means you don't cry, you don't show emotions, like that shit would get you beating on
Mhm.
somebody, right? You beating on somebody, or you are
Mhm.
angry and going out killing and hurting people, like because you have to find
Mhm.
another way to let out that pain. And if it's not through crying, which is a
Mhm.
natural release, that's the natural
Yeah.
release, you know what I'm saying? Then you find it somewhere else. So I'm very adamant about my boys and them. Like I don't want them to be over emotional like me, but you know what I'm saying? How you feel? Okay, you angry? Why? You know what I'm saying? Okay, you could be angry,
Mhm.
you want to cry, go ahead. But I think that's where the problem lies. Men feel like it's a sign of weakness, and it's far from that. Um,
Yeah. I feel that. I definitely feel that. Yeah, because it's like that pain. It's just like getting that pain out, really. But it's just kind of like we get it out in different ways. So it's just like, I don't know. It's a mental thing, you know.
It's been conditioned that you guys don't supposed to show any emotions other than happy or mad. Um, and to me, it's not right. So, um, and it's just important to even find um, those outlets, that tribe where you can be vulnerable with, you know, men. It's not, it can be like in a setting where y'all are talking about things, y'all talking about women, talking about this, and you're able to kind of let that out. 'Cause a lot of men need to find those type of tribes or those type of surroundings, right?
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think so. Um, so anything else that you wanted to touch on those topics before we get to the lightning round?
Was that all three of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was that
okay.
short? It was communication, sex and
No, no,
play,
right. And what was the third one?
men crying.
Oh, okay. I just didn't hear that in the beginning, the crime one. Okay, okay, cool. I
Yeah,
thought it was something else.
it's crying and vulnerability.
Oh, vulnerability, right. That's what you said.
Mhm.
Okay. For sure.
Okay, so let's go right into the lightning round. Um, so the first question is, what can you do today that you were not capable of doing last year?
What can I do today that I wasn't capable of doing last year?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot. Mm, have have deeper talks,
Okay.
like deeper conversations.
Okay. That's good. If you had $1 million, what's the first three things you would do?
Buy some property, some rentals, like a couple of three flats. Um, put away half of it and get my mom a new car, a new house.
Okay. Buy some property, give your mom a car and a house. And what did you say the third one was?
Put away
Oh,
half of it.
invest. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's a $500,000 budget. I can do all that with some extra, Then
Yeah,
obviously invest it in the clothing, of course.
absolutely. Okay. That's smart moves, smart moves. Um, what makes a relationship successful to you?
Trust, trust and
Trust.
loyalty, trust, loyalty, and what we call chemistry. You
Hmm.
know,
Okay.
understanding each other. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And what did your last relationship teach you?
Um, without trust, you ain't got nothing. That's why I said trust and loyalty.
Yeah.
Without trust, you ain't got nothing.
Okay. What do you look for in a woman that can be possibly wifey material to you?
Does she have a love for God?
Hmm.
Does she love God more than she love me? Can I build the kingdom with her? Is she tapped in with her purpose?
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve. What is the best thing about being a man to you?
What was that?
What is the best thing about being a man for you?
Best thing about being a man, um, being a leader.
Being a leader?
Being a leader. Yeah. Knowing that, you know, my duty is to lead. Lead my woman, lead my people, lead my family, lead my household. You know, that's my duty as a man.
Okay.
So
I like that. And Dondre, who is God to you?
Yahweh. This God is creator. He's a spirit. He's my heavenly Father. He's who I live for, and I love him. I'm learning how to love him more each and every day.
Powerful, powerful. Thanks for sharing those with me. So how can we reach you? Like, what's your website? Any social media handles? How can we get connected with your clothing line? Things of that nature.
So yeah, my brand is called Almvghty. It's Almvghty with a V. The V stands for vision. So you just spell Almvghty. You take out the I, ALMV as in vision, GHTY clothing. Follow me on Almvghty Clothing on Instagram at Almvghty with a V on Twitter. And yeah, we got a fashion show coming up December 21st. The theme of it is war ready, because we have to be ready for war at all times. It's a battle in our mind, and we have to be able to defeat the enemy. So yeah, make sure y'all connect with me. And yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again for sharing this space with me. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. And thank you. You know what I'm saying? Thanks again for bringing that wisdom.
Yeah, thank you. It was very, 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 very eye-opening for me, and it was just a conversation that I got a lot of too. So keep doing what you're doing, everything, keep moving with purpose, and we're gonna keep building. I know this is not gonna be the last time I'm on here, so it's gonna be fun to hear the difference next time we connect. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us on Wait on Purpose. Until next time, love, peace, and light. Bye.
Love this episode on Wait on Purpose? Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Until next time.
I see you always.